looks like I am live. Alrighty, so in this video, I know it is not a actual video, it is a live stream. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams, so hopefully more of you guys can watch them or check them out later on as well. But what I'm going to be doing today is showing you basically the process of what it's like when you have a business out of your house that deals with isopods and other bugs, what it's like to be able to get those ready for shows. So I already have some already cupped in there, and then I thought about just doing a live stream just to show you guys what it's like. So each one of those is a different species that I'm bringing to a show. But then in here, what we're going to do is also go through the bins. And as we go through the bins, we're going to water them, feed them, do everything that we would normally do with them. And the one thing I did forget is the food, because I'm feeding them. So give me just 1 second. But overall, it's very easy to take care of them. So I have to open up another bug burger right now. So if you guys didn't believe us before, you can believe us now. Here is the food that we feed them. We do feed them bug burger as well as morning wood. We'll just switch it off sometimes, but they do well on both of them. You guys can see here's the jar, just freshly opening it up. We bought 2 of these jars last year, and they have done really well with us. Like I said, we use these and a mixture of morning wood as well. So I'm just going to open this one up and pour that in there. But yeah, it is pretty simple when it comes to packaging these isopods up. But what we do is, what most people do around us is they do 10 counts for their isopods. And we think 10 counts are just a little weird to be giving. Unless it's a higher end species and people know what they're getting into when they go into those higher end species. But to do a 10 count for dairy cows or for magic potions or orange powdered, blue powdered, you know, we don't like that. We decided to do 15 counts for everything, just so when people do buy from us, their isopods can start breeding. We also don't do babies, like the whole thing babies. It's mostly adults, or at least juveniles that just have like a week or two to become adults and then start breeding for you. We believe our motto is thrive over survive, and that is why we do 15 counts instead. So what I'm doing here right now is I've already got some of these guys in there, so I'm really just going to feed them, water them, and then put this bin back up. But these are the Justroys. Now these, I'm not going to get a good camera angle on everything, but we'll go ahead and aim this a little bit more down if we can. Move that around. There we go. Alright, so that camera angle is a little bit better now for you guys. So you guys can see our Justroys. We cut 4 of them up for this show because we don't know how this show is going to go. But this is just one of the 2 bins that we have. We have a lot of mothers in here that are soon going to have their babies. So what we're going to do is, I do like watering the whole bin. I'll just water one side, which is this side, a little bit more than I will the other side. And then this, I'll just miss a little bit just so they can walk around in. And then what I'm going to do after that is literally this. Just grab some bug burger and just put that right on top. Now putting it on the cork bark is because I watered everywhere else and I don't want this molding up. I know some people don't keep their isopods like this. The isopods that I do keep in smaller enclosures have a little bit more amenities. Well, not necessarily amenities, but it's a little bit smaller, easier to keep humidity than in here. So with these guys, I come in every Monday and Thursday. Today is Friday, getting ready for the show though. You see, we already have some babies in there, but these guys, more babies up there. And this is just the second bin that we have of them. A lot of babies right there. So definitely not too worried about these guys. Their numbers are going to come right back up. And then this winter, we only have 2 more shows for this winter. And so if you guys are in Chicago or in or around the Chicagoland area, I definitely recommend you stopping by the Scott Smith All Animal Expo, because that is where we plan on being these next 2 shows. So this Saturday, Scott Smith, I believe it's in St. Charles, Illinois. Um, like I said, I'm going to heavily water the one side, but that is where we're going to be. And so those are the last 2 shows that we're going to have getting ready for 2023, because we want to breed a lot of these species out over the winter and then not have to worry about them when it comes to 2023, because now that we are getting more sales than we normally got before, we definitely got to keep up in some way. So that is where we're going to be taking a little bit of a break from shows, from I believe all the way through January, or we're going to start back up in January, and then so that's around a month and a half, almost 2 months of just no shows, just breeding the isopods and focusing on those, and not just these, but all the other species that we have. We have, I believe it was 30 something species right here, and then 20 or 30 species on the other side of the room, and those species like cappuccinos and stuff like that. Let's make sure you can see the bin. We're breeding those out as well. Here are some of our milkbacks. You know, we did have a lot before, but now that we've been doing some shows, we're keeping just enough to be able to catch our numbers back up when the time comes. So this bin, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take out of this bin. I want these guys to breed a little bit more before I start doing that, especially because I don't see babies right this very second. So that is why, you know, when you go through the bins like that, just a normal feeding day, you can say, that's when I make the decision on which ones I'm going to take and which ones I'm not going to take. So for these guys, I'll do exactly the same. Now, because they are Laevis species and they get a little bit bigger, I'm going to give them a little bit more food. And people are going to say, you know, you don't have to feed them that much. They're going to get a lot of their nutrition from, you know, the plants or the leaves and stuff that you put in there. And that's true, but if they're going to be breeding, why not give them the extra nutrition that would probably help them out, or that would help them out as they're breeding? That's my reasoning for it, so that's why I do exactly that. And this one's going to be a little bit longer of a stream today. So we got a giant canyon bin right here. We just split these up, so there's a decent amount of them, as you can see, but not enough that I want to bring to the show, especially because we just split them into 2 bins. If I kept them in the 1 bin and I was only going to breed out of 1 bin, then yes, we would leave it like that. But since I put them in 2 bins, I'm not going to do that. I am just going to leave them and let them breed out over the next month and a half and not stress them out. These guys are a great species that I recommend for a lot of tanks that even if the animal burrows, like blue-tongued skinks or so, I do like putting them in there because these guys burrow as well. So they're not going to get eaten as often, but they will be found as a little snack every now and then. So it's great for a lot of tanks with geckos. Just having these as the cleanup crew for underneath the soil, and then you have your main cleanup crew for everything else. You guys can see we have a decent amount right there as well. But I did give my co-founder some as well to take home, so just in case any of these colonies were to ever crash on me, I definitely don't have to worry about it. These guys can be doing fine. The moss is still wet right there. Looks like the ground is still wet. So all I'm going to do, oh, there's a spider in the bin, and that's where we got to kill those spiders, unfortunately. We can't have them harming any of our animals, any of our isopods. Alright, so now that is done, in here, like I said, these guys are doing well for us, so I'm just going to put a little bit of the bug burger right there. You guys have seen it here. We're not just telling you guys to buy Rapashi. We actually believe in the products that we're going to sell from, and They work really, really well for us. So we just wanted to spread that love to you guys and not keep it a secret of what's working the best for us as a supplemental food rather than just only having leaves. Now, if you're just a novice breeder or you're just breeding from home, not really doing too much with them, then yes, you don't necessarily need Rapashi. You can breed perfectly fine. Here's our blue powdered with a lot of babies in there, which is great. Not too many adults, but enough to be able to cup. Since they breed extremely fast, I'm not worried about them over the next 2 months or so. So we're going to cup them. And what I do when I cup is, I just go like this. Not everyone will necessarily agree with this method. But when there's a lot of them like this, what I'll do is I'll just pick this up and then I'll just gently tap over any deli cup. And then they'll be perfectly fine. They're not going to die or anything like that. Now you just got to watch where you're hitting. When you look on here, I see where they're most highly concentrated at, and it's not on this side right here. So I'm hitting that side against the cup, and that's where they fall out from. Now, like I said, we do 15 counts. So what I got to do here is once I hit those in there, I'll just bring a few cups here because, like I said, I don't know what this show is going to hold for us, in terms of sales or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is just count to 15 to 17 or so, and then bring these to the show. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. One more fell in there, so that's 18 in there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Same thing for this one. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So these guys are doing good. We're going to just hit a few more in there. Now for some of them, we'll go ahead and just rub off into the cup, because I want at least 4 cups of these guys. There we go. And then we got 1 more cup to be able to do. Then we have 4 cups of these guys. Now what I'm going to do is, because I'm not going to do this for the whole live stream, I'm counting all of these. I do just want to show you how the process goes. And then, like I said, this is why we do it as we're feeding them, because there'll be less stress, especially when they have food right after. So that's one thing that I've noticed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 4 cups. And then the rest of these guys, I'll just gently pour back in there. Make sure there's none stuck in the deli cup. And then that's it for that. So then with these cups that are already done, I have some pre-wet sphagnum moss that's already over here. And I'll just fill up the container around halfway, just like that. And then just put a lid on it. Once I put a lid on it, I'll label it blue powdered. And then I'll write it right on my inventory list of what I have cupped, so on and so forth. So it's as simple as that. Now for these guys, we have tested it out. We have tested it out before, to where we didn't have to worry. Without opening up these cups, a 15 count of our magic potions lasted 2 weeks without ever opening up the cup. Without adding any extra food, without opening up the cup, they lasted 2 weeks. Now, they did not die. So I want to make that clear. It was just longer than we needed to test after 2 weeks. So we decided to not do that anymore, or not continue with the test, because 2 weeks is long enough than you would ever need, um, before you need to open up that bin or open up the enclosure or deli cup. So they're not going to die right away. If you don't open up the bin or if you forget about them, you should not. I definitely would say, if you're a person that's you're normally good at forgetting, I would recommend doing it right away so you don't forget. Setting a reminder in your phone or something so you don't forget. I do not recommend getting these guys and then leaving them in the enclosure for 2 weeks just because I said that they can last 2 weeks. Like I said, though it is true, and we tested it ourselves, it's not something that should be done, just because you have that knowledge now. So that's 2 cups right there. I'm looking for my blue Sharpie that I just left or just put somewhere, because what I do with that is I just label the top what it is. So don't know where I put that Sharpie at. Well, that does not help me out at all. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that as is. Focus on these 2 cups that I have. Oh, there it is. My blue Sharpie, because blue is my favorite color. I just put a little bit of sphagnum moss in there, like I said. Just like that. Not too much, not too little. If you order from us, of course, we pack it with sphagnum moss, so your isopods won't get hurt at all. And you can check our reviews if you wanted to at featuredcreatures.shop, or go to our Facebook page, is where most of our reviews are at. But I know this is my personal channel. There we go. Alright, so that's 4 cups with these guys. Like I was saying, I know this is our personal channel. But that is, or my personal channel. But this is exactly what I'm going to do. Blue powder. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm going to do for all of these cups. Every single one of them. Blue powder, blue powder. Now, the reason why I only did 4 cups is, one, like I said, there isn't too much that I know about the show when it comes to, it isn't all animal expo, so there'll be cats, dogs, stuff like that. So not everyone's coming for reptile supplies or reptile needs. But even with that, I wanted to, bring a little bit more of a variety that I can. Oop, almost messed that one up. But I wanted to bring a little bit more of a variety. Sorry, me talking and doing 2 things at once does not work out. But I wanted to bring a little bit more of a variety, because the species that are the exact same as blue powdered are going to be the orange cream, the Oreo crumble, the orange powdered, as well as the whiteouts, which are all Procilio pruinosis. So I give people a little bit more of an option to choose between whichever color scheme that they like, instead of loading up all on one of them. They're all going to do the same thing and basically survive the same kind of environment. So you basically get to pick out which color scheme that you like for your isopods. All right. So yeah, it is. Where's that? Those were the blue powdered. And I already did the giant canyons and the milk backs, which I put over here. Oh, that's what I almost forgot to do. Let's scoot that over. And you guys can see I do refill their leaves as needed. After the other ones become a little bit more skeletonized, that's when I'll go ahead and just take those out And once I take them out, um, we're just going to throw them away. Make sure that there's no isopods on them, and then we'll just throw them away. I do want to go over, I am going to be making some videos soon about what it's like when we change out bins. And when I say change them out, I mean change out the soil and what happens to all the babies that we can't get out of there. What we decide to do with those after a little bit. But for now, what we're going to do is literally the same thing that we do for everything. Is I like to spread it out. So if it isn't a big mound of bug burger, what tends to happen is that if it's not getting eaten right away or really fast, what tends to happen is these guys will not chew all the way through. Or what I mean by that is that they won't. A lot more humidity can build up underneath, and it can mold there if they're not eating it as fast as you plan on. Now, for most of my enclosures, you guys can see they're eating pretty fast. And then I also have, you guys can see where a lot of these guys hang out at. These are the orange Dalmatians in this one. And with that, we got the orange Dalmatian markings right there, where it has that little spotting for the orange Dalmatian. We took a lot of these for the other shows that we had. So what we're not going to do is take them anymore right now. But we're going to add more leaf litter. We're going to water it a little bit because it's a little bit drier. Like I said, when I first drilled these holes in these enclosures, it was one of my first times doing that. So these original bins that I bought definitely have a little bit bigger holes than probably what's even necessary in these bins. These are 54 quart bins that were airtight with a gasket that I got from Menards when I first was going through them. And they all have been doing extremely well for me. And until we upgrade our bins and stuff, because what I do want to get is longer bins, and then I could stack those longer bins on top of each other because they're a little bit more flat. And because as a business, it is important that we breed out the quantity as well safely, make sure that all the animals are healthy. But even with that, breeding out a good quantity of them, we got to make sure the quantity or the quality is the exact same as well. So all of our isopods, you're not going to have to worry about any of them dying, any of them passing away. It's never happened thus far. All of our reviews can tell you exactly that. We don't have a bad word in anyone's mouth that they can say about us. That's how much we focus on our quality of our animals. So I'm really proud of where our business has gone, or my business has gone thus far. So being able to show you guys this, I'd never imagined doing it a year ago, showing you guys what it's like to breed these guys at such a scale that I'm breeding them at now. Because when I first got them, it wasn't expected to be doing this. I didn't think I'd ever get to these numbers. I'm at a place that I used to dream about, and that's what I'm so happy about. So now that we watered it, I'm going to leave those leaves dry, and they already got their bug burger. And then since I'm not taking out of these guys, I am not going to, mess around with them anymore, just because I don't want to stress them out. So what I'm going to do is grab the lid, put that on top, lock it up, and then that's all set. Now, like I said, we have tons of other ones. We have the blue powdered for sure. We have Oreo crumble, papayas, magic potions, so on and so forth, as well as orange springtails that we're taking. Here's our cups that I already did a little while ago. These guys are perfectly fine and healthy. As you guys can see, they do poop a lot. But even with that, especially for the magic potions, that's not going to hurt them immediately. It has to be a buildup of that. And that's why after 2 weeks, we decided not to do that anymore. You see, for our orange powder, you get a nice, vibrant orange. There's no blues in it at all. And it's a really nice color for them. They do really well. And here, there's probably around 25 or so. We do a little bit more for our orange powder because they breed so well for us. But we still keep that as the price of a 10 count. But yeah, guys, that is going to end this stream now that it's already been 24 minutes. A little bit longer than, a little bit shorter than I kind of want to do it, but there's not much else that's going to be different from what I'm just doing right now. Literally exactly like that is where we build this up. We get a few different cups from each bin that we can. And then if, the bin doesn't look too thriving, or if it doesn't look too good to where I know the isopods can thrive right after, then I'm not going to take out of them. So like our clowns and our zebras, those definitely got hit hard with getting those out for shows, and people bought a lot of those. Our dairy cows breed so fast that we don't have to worry about that. We already have 7 cups still of those, and I haven't even grabbed out of the bins now. But we brought 20 cups last time to a show, and we only have 7 cups now. So it's like every week, every other week is when we're doing shows, and that's why I tested out how long the isopods can stay in there. But I hope you guys like this video. Please, I know it's, I'll get better at camera angles and stuff like that later on. But, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. And if you guys did, go ahead and give me a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me something else that you want to see from a business angle or just from a personal angle, seeing how, I enjoy the hobby or things like that. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys had a great one. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.